Introduction. Welcome to my channel. Today we're talking about the classic book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This book has sold over 30 million copies and is considered one of the most influential self-help books of all time. In it, Carnegie shares his insights on how to build better relationships, improve your communication skills, and become a more likable person. In this video, we'll be discussing the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Chapter 1, Fundamental Techniques in Handling People. If you want to gather honey, don't kick over the beehive. This means that if you want to get along with people, you need to be kind and respectful to them. Don't criticize or complain about them. And don't try to force your own opinions on them. The big secret of dealing with people. The big secret is to make the other person feel important. Do this by listening to them attentively, showing genuine interest in what they have to say, and praising them for their accomplishments. He who can do this has the whole world with him. If you can make people feel important, you will have the whole world with you. People will be drawn to you and want to be around you. Chapter 2, 6 Ways to Make People Like You Instantly. Become genuinely interested in other people. The best way to make people like you is to be genuinely interested in them. Ask them questions about themselves and their interests. Really listen to what they have to say. Smile. A smile is a powerful tool that can make people feel good about themselves. It's also a great way to start a conversation. Remember names. People are more likely to like you if you remember their names. Make an effort to learn the names of the people you meet, and use their names when you talk to them. Be a good listener. People like to talk about themselves. Be a good listener and let them do the talking. Don't interrupt them or try to change the subject. Talk in terms of the other person's interests. People are more likely to like you if you talk about things that interest them. Ask them questions about their hobbies, interests, and goals. Make the other person feel important. People like to feel important. Find ways to make the other person feel important, such as complimenting them, acknowledging their accomplishments, and asking for their advice. Chapter 3, How to Win People to Your Way of Thinking. Arouse in the other person an eager want. The best way to get someone to do something is to make them want to do it. Find out what they want, and then show them how your idea will help them get it. Be a good listener. People are more likely to be persuaded by someone who listens to them attentively and shows genuine interest in what they have to say. Avoid arguments. People are more likely to be persuaded by someone who is respectful and non-combative. Avoid arguments, and instead focus on finding common ground. Show respect for the other person's opinion. Even if you don't agree with the other person's opinion, show them that you respect it. This will make them more likely to respect your opinion. Employ humor. Humor can be a great way to diffuse tension and make people more receptive to your ideas. However, be careful not to use humor at the other person's expense. Get the other person to say yes early and often. Once the other person has said yes to you a few times, they're more likely to say yes to your final request. Chapter 4, Be a Leader, How to Change People Without Giving Offense or Arousing Resentment. Begin with praise and honest appreciation. When you want to change someone's behavior, start by praising them for their good qualities. This will make them more receptive to your suggestions. Talk about what the other person wants. Focus on the other person's interests and goals. This will make them more likely to want to cooperate with you. Avoid arguments. Arguments will only make the other person defensive and less likely to cooperate. Instead, focus on finding common ground and working together to find a solution. Show genuine interest in the other person. People are more likely to be persuaded by someone who is genuinely interested in them. Ask them questions about themselves and their interests. Avoid criticism. Criticism will only make the other person defensive and less likely to cooperate. Instead, focus on offering constructive feedback. Make the other person feel important. People are more likely to be persuaded by the feelings. Chapter 5: How to handle complaints. Arouse in the other person an eager want to help you. When someone complains to you, don't get defensive. Instead, try to understand their point of view and see how you can help them. Avoid arguments. Arguments will only make the other person more upset. Instead, focus on finding a solution that both of you can agree on. Show genuine concern. Let the other person know that you understand their frustration and that you want to help them. Resolve the issue. Apologize if necessary. If you made a mistake, apologize sincerely. This will show the other person that you are taking their complaint seriously. Make it up to the other person. If you can, offer to make it up to the other person in some way. This could involve giving them a refund, fixing the problem, or simply apologizing again. Chapter 6: Getting to yes. Begin with a friendly attitude. When you're trying to negotiate with someone, it's important to start with a friendly attitude. This will help to create a positive atmosphere and make it more likely that you'll reach an agreement. Listen carefully to the other person's point of view. It's important to understand the other person's point of view before you start negotiating. This will help you to come up with a solution that works for both of you. Be willing to compromise. No one is going to get everything they want in a negotiation. It's important to be willing to compromise and find a solution that both parties can agree on. Be persistent. Don't give up if you don't reach an agreement right away. Keep trying and eventually you'll find a way to get to yes. Chapter 7: Be a good team player. Be supportive of your team. When you're part of a team, it's important to be supportive of your teammates. This means being willing to help out, being positive, and being respectful of everyone's contributions. Be willing to share credit. When your team succeeds, be willing to share the credit. This will help to build morale and create a positive team atmosphere. Be willing to take responsibility. When your team fails, be willing to take responsibility. This will show your teammates that you're a team player and that you're willing to do what it takes to succeed. Be willing to learn from your mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. The important thing is to learn from them. When you make a mistake, take the time to figure out what went wrong and how you can avoid making the same mistake in the future. Chapter 8: How to handle difficult people. Don't take it personally. When you're dealing with a difficult person, it's important not to take it personally. Remember that the other person is probably having a bad day or is dealing with some personal issues. Stay calm. It's important to stay calm when you're dealing with a difficult person. If you get angry or upset, it will only make the situation worse. Listen carefully. It's important to listen carefully to what the difficult person is saying. This will help you to understand their point of view and to come up with a solution that works for both of you. Be respectful. Even if you don't agree with the difficult person, it's important to be respectful. This will help to keep the conversation civil and productive. Be willing to compromise. No one is going to get everything they want in a conflict. it's important to be willing to compromise and find a solution that works for both parties. Thanks. I hope this video has been helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Please like, share your thoughts in comments.